and a pointer when you're structurally blind. You can raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated, Dr. Terry.
Thank you.
Dr. Terry, thank you for joining us today. Could you introduce yourself to the jury, please?
I'm Dr. Carol, that's C-A-R-O-L, Terry, T-E-R-R-Y.
Dr. Terry, what is your current occupation?
I am a forensic pathologist. I function as the chief medical examiner for Gwinnett County.
Dr. Terry, what background do you have that qualifies as a full medical examiner?
Okay. In 1986, I graduated from Emory College of Emory University with a double major. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Religion and a Bachelor of Science in Biology. From 1986 to 1990, I attended Emory University School of Medicine, where I received my Doctor of Medicine degree, so I am an MD. From 1990 to 1995, I did a 5-year residency in the area of pathology. It was a combined program of anatomic and clinical pathology. And it was in the Emory University affiliated hospital systems. So that involved working in hospitals like Grady Memorial Hospital, Emory, the VA Hospital, then Crawford Long, and Eggleston Hospital. My combined program of pathology broadly stated is the study of disease, and the 5-year residency involved the areas of anatomic and clinical pathology. Anatomic pathology is tissue-based pathology and involves diagnosing disease states from tissues, like biopsies or organs or tissues removed from living people, as well as autopsy specimens. Clinical pathology is the laboratory medicine aspect of pathology and involves diagnosing disease states from fluids like blood, urine, saliva, etc., and involves such areas as chemistry, hematology, microbiology, and blood banking. Now, during the last year of my 5-year residency, I keep saying 5 years, it was 5 long years. Last year of my 5-year residency, I was allowed to work exclusively at the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office in a subspecialty of pathology, forensic pathology. Forensic pathology is the medical legal investigation of death. And in doing forensic pathology, we as medical examiners are tasked with investigating deaths that are reported to us under the Georgia Death Investigation Act. And so these are deaths that are sudden, unexpected, unexplained, or due to non-natural causes. And so I spent the last year of my residency doing that. Following the completion of my residency in 1995, I did an additional year of training in forensic pathology, also at the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office. And this year of training outside of the residency is referred to as a fellowship year. And because I already had a year of experience in that office, I was essentially treated like a junior attending and got to supervise other individuals who were rotating through the office. Following the completion of my fellowship year in 1996, I stayed on staff at the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office as an associate medical examiner. And I kept that position until I left in 2004. In 2004, I went to work for Dr. Gerald T. Gowitt, and that's G-O-W-I-T-T, who's the chief medical examiner in DeKalb County. I was an independent contractor for Dr. Gowitt, and not only did we handle medical examiner cases for DeKalb County, but we also covered medical examiner cases for Hall, Henry, Rockdale, and White counties. Toward the end of 2005, Dr. Gowitt made me aware of the upcoming opening of the medical examiner position here in Gwinnett County. The medical examiner position in Gwinnett County is a contracted position, and so I had the opportunity to form my own company and put in a bid for the medical examiner contract here. I was awarded that contract in February of 2006. It comes up for renewal every 5 years. I have maintained that contract since February of 2006. So as I said, I function as the chief medical examiner for Gwinnett County. It is not a county department. It is a contracted position. Everyone who participates in death investigation in Gwinnett County is my employee under that contract. I have personally, in my career, conducted between 6,600 and 6,700 autopsies. All told, I've examined over 10,000 bodies in my career, because not everybody gets an autopsy. Some bodies get what we call external examinations, where we just do an outside examination of the body, especially when there's obvious trauma and specimens drawn for perhaps drug testing or other types of chemical analyses. I've supervised individuals in an additional 700 or more cases through my work at the medical examiner's office in Fulton County. I'm licensed to practice medicine in the state of Georgia and have been since 1992. I'm triple board certified by the American Board of Pathology in all 3 areas of pathology in which I have trained and studied: anatomic, clinical, and forensic pathology. And I have been tendered as an expert witness in the Superior Courts of Georgia over 435 times.
At this time, we tender Dr. Terry as the pathology expert.
So tendered.
Dr. Terry, did you have an opportunity to conduct an autopsy of one Bradley Coleman?
Yes, I did.
Dr. Terry, I'm going to show you a series of photographs previously that Mark previously shown to the defense counsel. The states exhibit 43 through 51 and ask you to just take a moment and familiarize yourself.
Okay.
Do those photographs accurately represent the condition of the body of Mr. Coleman? At least states 43 through 50, the condition of Mr. Coleman's body before you perform the autopsy.
Well, it's during the, I consider the external examination part of the autopsy. So once I start examining the body, that's part of the autopsy. But those exhibits you just mentioned are prior to any opening or cuts being made on the body. Yes.
Did they contain findings or at least indicate things that are relevant to the cause of death of Mr. Coleman?
Yes, they do.
So at this time, we would tender states 41 through 53. Dr. Terry?
States exhibits 43 through 51
Yes, ma'am.
are admitted without objection.
Dr. Terry, I'm going to pull them up on the TV screen, and I would ask, if you could, would you step down and let us go through the pictures together so that you can explain to the jury the significance of the findings?
If I may. Thank you.
Dr. Terry, could you talk us through when a body does come to you, what do you do? I see some things about this picture. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, at this point in time, the body has come into the morgue. I have discussed with investigators who's handled this case what the reported circumstances are. So he is giving me his synopsis of what occurred. And in this case, when an investigator went to the scene, so he had actually been to the scene. He's the one who put the bags on the hands to prevent any potential evidence that might be there on the hands. He's the one who made sure that the body is appropriately positioned in a disaster bag or body bag. There's a tag and a seal, so you see the wood bag. And in this photograph, what you're seeing is the bag has been opened. There's been no manipulation of the body by me at this point in time. This is how Mr. Coleman appeared when I first saw him. And so these are the articles of clothing that he's wearing. You see the wire here, but he has an identification bag that's on his leg, placed there by my investigator who went to see. And you can see how he was dressed at the scene. And so this is how he appeared when I first saw him.
Dr. Terry, I'm going to pull up and what's been previously introduced, states 64. Could you describe anything significant you see on state 64?
Okay, what we're looking at here, this is the top of Mr. Coleman's head on the left side, and this is prior to any cleaning of the body. So we can see dry blood here. We can see sergeant injury there. We don't see it well because hair is around it. And so, again, this is prior to cleaning of the body and prior to my shaving around this wound. Because before I moved this wound, before any water or washing it, it goes going to shave the hair around it so that I don't lose the visual evidence if you washed up.
Dr. Terry, it's at a point like this, if you had what's called a press contact wound, would that be obvious at this point?
No, not necessarily. we're dealing with an area that's covered by a hanger.
Is that a closer up view of what we've just described?
I don't know if it's closer up, it's about the same picture.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This one. Can you describe what we're seeing here? And I'm going to see if I can flip this. What's that, Judge?
In this photograph, what we're looking at is, again, this Coleman part being addressed, trying to be part being cleaned up. It's a front and back, and it's in the foreground. But once it's mainly showing this here in front of the neck, there's another hole or defect. This actually corresponds to what's going to be the exit wound. What we're seeing on the top of the exit is going to be the entrance wound. We found get a good look at it, and this is going to be the exit wound.
Dr. Terry, I apologize. I hadn't talked to you about this, but if the entrance room is here, and the exit room is here, the orientation is the gun is here. If you stop me with the angle, the tree would be consistent.
What's not there?
You rear the gun and I would.
Right, or I can't tell you about the position.
Can the jurors see here that? If you need to stand up, or Mr. Melvin, why don't you go toward Eddie?
Sure.
Why don't you, because the jurors in the back can't see.
So this would be the position of Mr. Coleman on the head shot.
Position of, well, this head relative to the hip. If I'm standing like this, I can't tell you exactly how or necessarily position. I can tell you about the relationship of the body to the down. And the wound half is going downward, and it's going up from the back to the front, slightly from the left toward the right. One of these directions I'm talking about, this is left and right, and back and front. And we haven't discussed this yet, but it is a loose contact range wound, so the muzzle will be down, it's up against the head, and it's discharged.
I'd like to zoom in. At this point, Dr. Terry, could you describe what this picture is demonstrating?
Okay, in this photograph, we're looking at Mr. Coleman's head, as indicated, shaded around the wound. And if you move in here, you can see a little bit of the dark, just around it. It's part of it caused by the soot. There's a laceration from here that extends through this wound. There are various slight abrasions and a little bit of bruising on the face, bruising the nose, bruising the forehead. And in this photograph, it's been cleaned up. You can see that there's been shading around the wound. You can see the exit quite at this point yet, but again, it's traveling from up or down, so it's a downward trajectory, going slightly from the front, coming back towards the front, and slightly from the left towards the right.
You describe soot within the injury. How does soot get within an injury like that?
It comes out of the muzzle of the gun. When the firearm is discharged, things other than bullet come out of the end of the gun. You have gases, sometimes flame, as well as soot or smoke, and particles of gunpowder.
How close do you have to be to a firearm
To have what?
to have soot within an injury like that?
It depends on the firearm. It depends on a number of factors, such as the caliber of the weapon, firearm, type of the ammunition, things of that nature. So for me, as a medical examiner, I choose a qualitative term. I'll say it's contact or close range. And it would be that beyond an area where there's no longer soot deposited, but I've got gunpowder, and I call that medium range. So because of there being variability based on parameters that are associated with the firearm and ammunition, issues that are handled by a ballistics examiner who best fires weapons and can tell you what these precise ranges are. Typically for me, when I see soot, this usually inside of a foot. But when I see a wound like this, I've got soot, I don't have stippling, which are injuries caused by gunpowder. Everything that's being discharged out of that firearm is going into that hole. And the soot is a little dispersed. This is a loose contact. It's not a pressed contact where I have a muzzle injury. It's loose contact. The gun gets to have a loose fracture.
Okay, the picture that's been pulled up there, is there anything significant around the mouth?
Oh, well, you see a little bit of frothy, bloody fluid.
What's that indicate, Doc?
So in this case, it's because I've got a breach of the airway, there's a disruption of the airway, and blood is getting mixed with air from the lungs. And you see subsequently, but he did continue to breathe after receiving this gunshot wound, and I've got evidence of what's called blood aspiration, where blood has been inhaled.
Space 53, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the left lung here. The left lung has two lobes. There's the upper lobe, lower lobe, and we see this splotchy fluid in there, or purple area. That's where blood has been inhaled into the lung. It's more consolidated here, more fluid. And again, this is indicative of the person breathing after receiving this gunshot wound.
Doctor, I think we have one other photo as well, and this is the close-up of the neck. What is significant to you about this photo?
This is a close-up of the neck that's not been cleaned up, but this is the incident that there's not any kind of abrasion or scraping around it. Again, it's got some body blood here. What's significant is the incident that the entrance wound. We haven't seen really a good picture of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. The entrance wound being the one that was shaved, correct, Doctor?
Correct.
That right there, that entrance wound?
Whether it's the entrance wound, there's a better picture of it. Here we go. All right. This is the entrance wound. The entrance wound is typically round to oval. As I said, this one's got some lacerations, ears extending all of it. But the main entrance defect is right here. It's relatively round. It's got some abrasion right around the edge. And then we've got this dark green sweat around it and no stipple. So this is a loose contact range entrance wound. And again, with some tearing of the skin. And you'll see that sometimes this depends on if the wounds can mental, but also if gases get caught between the scalp and the skull, causing the scalp tear.
Dr. Terry, thank you so much. You can take your seat. I just have a couple of final questions. How quickly would death come with the injury that you just saw?
With this type of injury, most likely pretty quickly, I'd say seconds to maybe minutes. I know it was not an immediate death because of the inhalation of blood. So there is some breathing in to account for that amount of blood within the lungs.
Thank you, Dr. Terry.
You're welcome.
You straight? I don't have any questions, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we release Dr. Terry?
Please do.
All right, thank you, Dr. Terry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.